We all know we don't eat chametz at Pesach. In the past 2 weeks, we spoke about the dikas chametz, how to get rid of the chametz. And this week, we'd like to speak about the other part, achilas matzah.
There you go.
We eat matzah on Pesach. Now, we all know the first night is a chiyuv to eat matzah, it's a mitzvah, it's a chiyuvus to eat matzah. How about the rest of Pesach?
Can I say, is the first, in our case, the first 2 nights or just?
The first 2 nights. Our case, first, I speak with the first 2 nights.
Right.
So there's a mitzvah to eat matzah the first night, and at least the kazayis matzah. It's good to know that the mitzvah on the first night that we eat matzah, so the mitzvah is a kazayis. You have to eat kazayis matzah. Now let's say someone eats the first night 2 kazayis matzah, 4 kazayis matzah. Is that part of the mitzvah, or once you finish the kazayis, you eat the mitzvah and the rest that you're eating is just a shus ba'alma?
It seems to me it's more meritorious to spend the time telling the story than eating one matzah.
But let's say you're not eating exactly kazayis. You don't measure exactly kazayis. It's more than kazayis. So the halacha is that if let's say it's not so negay really, because whether it's a mitzvah or not, you can eat the matzah, whatever you can eat. Where it's negay is the Shem speak about it. If let's say there's an isser in the matzah, an isser chadash, you're not allowed to eat chadash from the new crop. Now, if there's an isser chadash, let's say there is an isser chadash, or when there was an isser chadash, so Pesach was the end. The first Echal Moed was when it becomes mutter. So you have an Isser Chodesh, now it's from last year's crop that came out till the first Echal Moed. So you have matzah that's made from that year's crop, and it's all you have. You have nothing else. So there's a loisah say now that you eat it because of Chodesh. Or they have a mitzvah say to eat matzah. So we know there's a din asay doich loisah say. There's a mitzvah, there's an asay. Do something, you have a loisah say, it tells you not to do it, you're not allowed to eat chadash. I say the loisah say you're allowed to eat the matzah, even though there's a nissa chadash on it.
They're both rice.
Both are nice. And I say the loisah say.
Why would that be, by the way?
Why does I say the loisah say? Because they don't have to climb the tzitzis, there's no one yivamas about it. You find it a lot of times.
You would think not, right?
You would think not. Right. But the halacha is that I say is the loisah say. If you have a mitzvah to do, if a loisah says standing in the way, the halacha is you do the asay because the asay is loisah asay, and the asay pushes away the loisah asay.
I guess people that steal and give money for tzedakah use that logic, right?
That's mitzvah b'averi.
Right.
That's something else.
That's true.
That's something else.
So now you can look the guy in the eye and say, nice try, but...
No.
But
they never admit they stole it.
just in case somebody says...
So if you have a chadash, if you have chadash, a matzah that's chadash, you're not allowed to eat it. You have an assay of eating matzah. Assay dechalois assay. What's my assay to eat? 1 kazayis. Only kazayis. Right. More than a kazayis, you don't have to eat. So do I have to measure exactly a kazayis? And if I eat a drop more than that, now I'm in trouble?
You would think so.
So you would think, right?
Okay.
But the answer is no. You don't have to measure exactly. And why? Because the Torah says you have to eat a kazayis matzah. That means the minimum you have to eat is a kazayis. But if I'm eating 2 kazayis for the mitzvahs of achilas matzah, it's all part of my mitzvah.
Right.
It's all part of my mitzvah of achilas matzah. The minimum is a kazayis.
The second kazayis because you like matzah.
If you're doing it for a mitzvah. If you eat it and you stop and you eat other stuff, and then that's really it's not part of your mitzvah achilas matzah. You wash.
So this is achilas pras. You have to do it within that time.
All part of the mitzvah. All what you're doing is part of the mitzvah. Then, even though you eat more than 1 kazayis as part of the mitzvah, it's all one big mitzvah. And it pushes away the loisah say of chadash. So you want 3 kazayisim, it's fine. It's all part of mitzvah achilas matzah. This is all the first night. How about the first day?
But this is within 9 minutes.
Yeah.
2 minutes. But Rabbi Shiner is 2 minutes.
What I'm saying is the max is 9. 2 is right.
2 minutes.
So the mitzvah, that's the mitzvah of achilas matzah on the first night. How about the rest of Yom Tov? First day, Chal HaMoed. Is there a mitzvah to eat matzah?
Well, on Shabbos you have a chiyuv, right? Shabbos and Yom Tov, you have to make. You have to.
One second. Shabbos Yom Tov, you have to eat a susan.
Right.
There's no mitzvah to eat matzah.
No, you have to eat bread.
You're saying you have no choice but to eat bread.
Bread.
You have to eat matzah.
Yeah.
So we'll get to that. But there's no mitzvah of the matzah itself.
On the
saying?
first day.
So only the first night is a mitzvah to eat matzah.
What about the day?
But they're not. There's no mitzvah to
Just what the
Just at night is the mitzvah. Now the rest of the Yom Tov. So the Mechaber in Simon Tafayin Hey, Siv Zayin says, Ein chiyav achilas matzah, elo balayla harishayna bavad. The chiyav matzah is only the first night. After that, there's no chiyav achilas matzah. There's no mitzvah. We don't know. Says the Mishnah Berurah over here, Siv Chad Mamhei, Ubashem Hagra Kasvu, Dal Kapanim Mitzvah Ika Leechal Matzah Kol Shiva Elo She'enoi Chiyuv. There's a mitzvah to eat all 7 days, but it's not a chiyuv.
It's like the idea of sukkah.
Oh, okay.
No, it's not the same.
Yeah.
We use it the same idea, right?
Well,
Sitting in the
well,
sukkah.
But Sukkah is not the first night, it's the first day.
Sukkah is the first night.
Only the first night?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, every spare moment you sit in the sukkah, it's good, but you don't have to. Same idea.
The same
Right?
thing here is saying Shiva bring Matzot Tuchelu.
Says Shir Siyah Matzah B'Chel. What does that mean?
What's that?
Oh, what does that mean?
Same idea.
So the Goyen says there's no chiyuv to eat matzah all 7 days, but there's a mitzvah to eat matzah all 7 days. What does that mean?
Yeah, great. Yeah.
What does it mean? The mitzvah
Like
to
You
eat.
don't get, that means you don't
You
get
gotta
a
work
zera.
six dollars.
It's like it's like sukkah.
Yeah,
So
no.
I'll tell you something.
Optional.
You got
I'm
a bit you
sure
can do,
mitzvah.
and that's if you don't.
Okay, so I'm going to read to you. I'm going to read to you a behetiv in Hilchos Sukkah. You're saying the same thing as
I
sukkah.
would think.
Matzah all 7 days is the same thing as sitting in a sukkah all 7 days. So says the behetiv, here's a kasha. When you eat matzah the first night, you say Baruch Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam al achilas matzah. You eat matzah the first day or any time through Yom Tov. Do you make a bracha on it?
No.
No.
You don't make a
The
bracha.
Sukkah, yes.
Listen.
The sukkah you do make a bracha.
Right.
You don't make a no, you don't. Not if you sit in the sukkah.
Each time you
They
say
should-
Sukkah.
You
No,
don't say
you don't.
Leisha with sukkah?
Unless you eat.
If you're eating, I'm
So
saying.
what if you're not eating?
No,
So
but
what
the
do you
reason
want
is
to
because we.
If you're learning, you're supposed to learn in the sukkah. There's no Indian of being in the
But
You're
sukkah.
still
make
eating
a
it.
bracha
You're
on
still
the
making
I'm
a
not
bracha.
eating in the sukkah.
We happen not to make a bracha only when we eat.
Right. And it depends what you eat, also.
Yeah, but we make a bracha Leisha with sukkah all 7 days.
But you
Yeah,
don't make
but,
after
but it's all based on. There's still a mitzvah. Isn't there a mitzvah? If you sit in the sukkah and learn, you get a mitzvah.
You do,
Okay,
yeah.
so I'm talking about that.
Okay, so why sukkah?
But you don't make
do you
a
make a
first
Leisha with
matzah.
sukkah, and a bracha achilas matzah you don't make all 7 days.
Only one time, one shot.
Says the Berhetiv in Hilchos Sukkah, Masha ein mevorchen al matzah kol shiva. Why don't we make a bracha al matzah kol shiva? It should the ein mitzvah ba'achilasa. There's no mitzvah to eat matzah the rest of the Yom Tov.
Right.
Masha ein came b'sukkah. By sukkah is a mitzvah to sit in the sukkah all 7 days. This is the Berhetiv.
Okay.
Berhetiv says of clear chiluk, matzah is no mitzvah all 7, and sukkah there is a mitzvah all 7. Mr. Brewer is down from the Gra, not that way.
Where does the Gra get that from?
Oh, where does the Gra get it from? Where is the Gra get it from? We'll get to that. The Gra says not the way. The Gra says there is a mitzvah to eat matzah all 7 days. Anytime you're eating matzah, you mekayim a mitzvah v'achilas matzah. That's what the Gra says. We'll see what the Gra gets from in a second.
No bracha.
No bracha. No bracha v'achilas matzah. That everyone agrees. But it's still a mitzvah. There's still a mitzvah when you eat matzah. And that's the Gra and the Behetiv.
When you make the bracha at the Seder,
Yeah.
are you supposed to have in mind
No.
matzah you eat for
No.
the rest of Pesach? No?
You got enough on your mind. That's after a few drinks, you know. It is. Yeah.
So we have the Gra and the Behetiv. And I'll tell you even more.
You have to have them more in mind.
There was a certain people had a chumrah that they not just is it not a mitzvah to eat matzah a whole Yom Tov. They held you should not eat matzah a whole Yom Tov.
Bells.
Bells. A lot of there was in
Why? Why?
because they held
Takes
there
away.
was a chash of chametz.
Oh.
There was a chash of chametz. So you ate matzah only the first night, and the rest of the Yom Tov they stayed away from matzah. They didn't touch matzah.
That's a lot cheaper that way.
It's not cheaper.
That's why they
You don't have to buy 20 pounds of
You mean it
store
might not have
matzah.
been baked
You
within
buy
the
2
2
pounds and you're done.
Right? Chametz.
$600.
There's a memra. There's a memra from one of the. I heard it years ago. I haven't seen it inside. that from one of the Hasidic rabbis, they said that the matzah we eat the first night, there's a certain malach that's over it that makes doesn't come hummus. The rest of Yom Tov, you don't have that.
Leil Shimurim, right?
Yeah.
Leil Shimurim.
That's what he says.
That's cute. That's cute.
So there was such a minute. Now, the first time I heard that minute, I thought, come on, you're not getting matzah the whole Yom Tov.
You've heard a lot of things, but this is not,
You have to do the Yom Tov, like you said. You have to do the Yom Tov. You have to wash.
How do you do that? Right.
They didn't wash the whole Yom Tov. They didn't wash the whole Yom Tov besides the first night.
I once was flying to Israel.
Yeah.
He told me exactly that.
Yeah.
The first night we don't eat matzah. The rest of the
Only the first night.
we don't.
Only
Except
the
for
first night. That's what we done.
First night, that's it, right? And
So-
then at the end of it, he said, "And if you tasted our matzah, you would understand why."
It must be awful.
They burn it to a crisp. They burn it to a crisp. Nothing should be there.
So if you look,
You don't want to eat it for the
Shari Tshuva and the Simon Tov Samach. There's a long Shari Tshuva and the Simon Tov Samach. He speaks about gebrachas, matzah shriya. Goes to the whole minig, where it comes from, what the reasons are, and he says at the end of the Shari Tshuva, he says, "V'yesh machmir b'yoyser, she'ein oichle matzah klal." Shari Tshuva brings it down. They don't eat matzah klal achar leil rishon. After the first night, there's no eating matzah. Rak oichlem lemadanim mine tavshilim. They eat cooked things. And now, a lot of people don't do that. I mean, they do eat matzah. Why? Simchas Yom Tov. Kipita sada delipa. Bread is a fills you up. And he ends off like this: V'al elu shalibam l'shamayim. Both of them, that are libam l'shamayim. Kaira ani. I read about them. I say about them. Ve'ameich kulam tzadik.
There you go.
As long as we're libam l'shamayim. So you have here, very interesting, you have here a certain machmirim, that not just the hell there wasn't a mitzvah to eat, they said you shouldn't eat matzah the whole Yom Tov besides the first night. We're not going with that. We're going to put that aside. It's good to know that some people hold that way. We're going to go without that.
Even bisman
It's
is
better
that?
not to
People
eat
are like that?
actually for the whole 7 days. Just don't eat for the whole 7 days. No comment.
No,
Fast for the next 7 days.
You can't fast on Yom Tov.
they're on a fast. They have to do something.
Okay, something.
So let's not go with that shita that holds those machmirim that don't eat matzah at all. We want to know, is there a mitzvah of eating matzah or not? So if someone have the Gra says there is a mitzvah to eat matzah, where does it come from? So the Cheskuni says, there's a famous Cheskuni in Parshas Bori, the Cheskuni says, it says in Pasuk, Shivas Yom Teichel Matzahs. It's a Lashon Pasuk, you should eat matzah 7 days. You have to eat. The Pasuk is telling you, no, don't eat chametz. If you want to eat something, eat matzah. Says the Cheskuni, יש לך דברים שמקבלים שכר בעשייתם ועונש כשאין עושה. You have certain mitzvahs that if you do it, you get schar, and if you don't do it, you get punished. For example, the first night, if you eat matzah, you get schar. If you don't eat matzah, you get an oynish. You have to eat matzah the first night. You get matzah b'layla rishon.
That's called the Betel Aseh.
That's called the Betel Aseh. And that they term it as a mitzvah chiyuvis. A mitzvah you're mechuyev to do. ויש לך דברים שאין מקבלים שכר בעשייתם ועונש כשאין עושה. כגון matzah מליל ראשון ואילך. Matzah from the first night and on, you don't get punished if you don't eat. ומכמוכם במצוות matzah is תחל לשבט יום כתוב. But b'matzos, it says matzos techel l'shivas yom. It says the apostle you should eat matzah for 7 days. It says the Cheskuni Chleimar im ochel matzah kol shivas hayomim kayimu apostle v'zeh shel shivas yom matzah techel. The mechayim the apostle of shivas yom matzah techel, and in the world it's coined as a mitzvah kiyumis. It's a mitzvah kiyumis that you're mechuyev to do, eating matzah the first night. Something called a mitzvah kiyumis. You don't have to do it, but if you do it, you're mekayim a mitzvah.
It's like living in Eretz Yisrael.
That's the question. If it's a mitzvah chiyuvis or not. It may be a mitzvah chiyuvis.
It's Zionistic.
Yeah. So the Cheskun. So now
Just love that one.
now we know where the goyin gets his din from. That if you eat matzah the rest of the Yom Tov, you're mekayim a mitzvah. That's a Cheskuni. The Cheskuni is a rishon. says that if you eat matzah the first night, it's a chiyuvus. The rest of the night, it's a chiyuvus. If you do it, you get schar. If not, you don't get punished. But you're mekayim a mitzvah by eating it. If I eat bread today, I'm not mekayim a mitzvah by eating the bread. But matzah kol shiva is a mitzvah chiyuvus. You get a mitzvah for eating matzah kol shiva.
Do we hold like that, by the way?
It depends on going hold that way.
What is it?
It depends. It's machlokes.
I understand. It's always
Yeah.
different. But what's the accepted version?
I think something there is a mitzvah.
Isn't it?
Yeah, there is a mitzvah. I'll tell you, Kolboy is also a reason. The Kolboy says that it goes like the Be'er Hativ, that there's no mitzvah to eat kol shiva. And he says, why on Sukkot we're going with halal kol shiva? You say halal all 7 days of Sukkot. We're going with the whole halal. You say whole halal. Pesach, we don't. Only the first day, or Chutzlaris, the first 2 days. Why? Why are we going with halal by Sukkot, and we're not going with halal by Pesach? That's his question. So he said the reason is because Sukkot, you have mitzvah sayom called shiva. Every day you have mitzvah sayom. You have sitting in a sukkah, lulav and esrog. You have a mitzvah. Pesach, there's no mitzvah sayom called shiva. The first night you have mitzvah sayom. It's Matzah, it's morar, after the rest of Pesach, there's no mitzvah sayom. There's no mitzvah at all to do over. So therefore, we're not going with halal. You see, even the Kolba, he also held there's no mitzvah to eat matzah kol shiva. No mitzvah sayom, he says. So you see the Arishem that hold, even Rishem that hold, there's no mitzvah to eat matzah kol shiva. But the question is, those who hold there is a mitzvah to eat the lenach from Pesach, that's good. Those who hold there's no mitzvah, why is it different than sukkah? What's the chiluk in achilas matzah and sukkah? What's the difference? Sukkah also, you don't have to sit in the sukkah. If you don't want to eat, you don't have to go to the sukkah. There's no chiyuv to eat in the sukkah. When you sit down and eat in the sukkah, you make a bracha al achilas. You say al lesha b'sukkah. You don't have to. So the Achronim say that it's big machlokes in Achronim. How do we look at this chiyuv of sitting in the sukkah?
If you nap in the sukkah,
Yeah, you don't make a bracha.
and you don't eat because you're conscious of
You don't make a bracha, no. We only make a bracha on Achila, it's a whole different sugya. Why? But a lot of Achronim learn that the mitzvah of eating in the sukkah is not a mitzvah kiyumis. So now you were saying that those who said that there's a mitzvah to eat in the sukkah all 7 days, it's not a kiyuvis, it's not like matzah the first night, it could be mekayim. Now some Achronim that learn that no, there's a mitzvah chiyuvus of sukkah. What does that mean?
Well, if you're going to have a nice bread, then you have to eat this.
Oh, so a lot of Achronim learn. That's a big machlokes in Achronim. Let's start with mitzvah tzitzis. Do you have to wear tzitzis?
No.
You don't have to. You don't have to wear. If you're not wearing dal kanfos, don't put on tzitzis. There's no mitzvah chiyuvus to wear tzitzis. Right. Now, when I put on a beged of dal kanfos, now I'm wearing a beged of dal kanfos. Now I have to put tzitzis onto that beged. Is it now a mitzvah chiyuvus? Or is it a mitzvah chiyuvus?
Once I'm wearing, once you wear it.
Chiyuvus.
Once you decide to wear it.
Yeah.
Once you put it on.
You're wearing a
Has to have.
Yeah, you have to have.
Yeah.
Right.
So someone's going to ask you, is mitzvah tzitzis a mitzvah chiyumis or is it a mitzvah chiyuvus? What would you say?
Humus.
Chiyumis.
I would say.
Not chiyuvis.
No. Wow. You're right. You don't have to put it. You don't have to wear tzitzis.
You don't have to wear tzitzis.
But once you're wearing that kind of beggar, then you do.
But now when I put it on,
Then it becomes that.
so I have to, the mitzvah tzitzis, is it chiyuvis or is it chiyuvis?
Until you put it on, it's
both.
So it depends. It's both. So it's both.
It's chiyuv to do it once you have the beggar on, and then you're mekayim the mitzvah because you put it on.
So the Minchas Chinuch, the famous Minchas Chinuch, he says that since mitzvah tzitzis and sukkah the same exact thing as tzitzis. These are the only 2 mitzvahs that have this type of criteria. Right? You want to eat. I want to eat a piece of bread. So now when I decide I want to eat it, I have to go into the sukkah. So now does it become a mitzvah chiyuvus? Now when I decide to eat it? Well, no, it's a mitzvah chiyuvus. It always stays a mitzvah. You don't have to eat the bread if you don't want. Now that you're eating in the sukkah, it still stays a mitzvah chiyuvus. So that's the machlokes, the Minchas Chinuch and the Asfin, the Reis of Yisrael, a big machlokes. And the Achronim are very busy with this. The Minchas Chinuch holds that it'll never turn into a mitzvah chiyuvus. Sukkah will never turn into a mitzvah chiyuvus. It'll never turn into chiyuvus. Even though now I'm putting on a dal kanfos, and now I have to put tzitz on my beged, Doesn't make a difference. Does not turn into a mitzvah chiyuvas. It's called a mitzvah chiyuvas. Don't wear the beged. You don't have to put in the dal kanfus. You don't have to put in the tzitzis. Don't wear the beged. So what's the problem? You're not allowed to wear a beged with dal kanfus without putting tzitzis on it. It's not a mitzvah chiyuvas. That's a mitzvah chiyuvas. That's what he learns it. The Asman Araisa says that no, once I decide to put on my beged dal kanfus, or once I decide I want to eat some bread, now it's a chiyuv to go sit in the sukkah. Now it's a chiyuv to put on dal kanfus. That's what he says. So he holds us a mitzvah chiyuvas.
What's the difference to us if it's a kiyumas or a chiyumas?
It's a big difference. If you hold it's a mitzvah chiyuvas, you can't bring any rice to Pesach. Sukkah, of course, it's a mitzvah chiyuvas. If I'm eating bread, I have to sit in the sukkah.
As far as schar goes, we don't know the schar.
No, we're not talking about schar mitzvahs. I'm not talking about schar mitzvahs. What's the chiluk to us if it's chiyuvas or chiyumas? That's the whole mitzvah chinuch. A mitzvah ba'avera, maybe we'll leave at a different time. There's a big nafkamina if it turns into chiyuvas or it stays chiyumas.
Right.
A big nafkamina.
Well, on the first night it is a chiyuvas.
Wait, Pesach. Sukkah also, yeah. Sukkah those chiyuvas the first night.
The difference is that with regards to tsar, like how much,
Right.
it's raining out, it makes there's a difference in halacha.
Yeah, and there's another big nafkamina. I'll speak out quickly. The chinuch says that it's something called mitzvah ba'avera. Right? Mitzvah ba'avera means if you have a mitzvah, you over an avera, you're not into the mitzvah. By sukkah, it says the sukkah gzula is not a kosher sukkah. Sukkah gzula. It's still a sukkah. It's not a kosher sukkah. So ask Taisvus says, what do you mean? Anyway, it's not kosher. It's the mitzvah ba'avera. So of course it's not kosher sukkah. So says the mitzvah chinuch, mitzvah ba'avera tells me if I have to do a mitzvah and I want to schar for that mitzvah, right? I'm a chuyv to do a mitzvah. If it's done through an avera, it's as if you didn't do it. You eat matzah that's stolen, it's as if you didn't fulfill your obligation to eat matzah the first night. Right? The first night sukkahs, I steal a sukkah, I eat in the sukkah, you didn't fulfill your obligation to eat in the sukkah. How about chalamoid sukkahs? I steal a sukkah and I sit in the sukkah. And I eat it kazayis. Did I do anything wrong?
I stole the sukkah.
I stole the sukkah. So I didn't fulfill my obligation of sitting in the sukkah. I have an obligation to sit in the sukkah. So there it depends. If you hold it becomes a mitzvah chiyuvas once you decide to eat, so now you have a chiv to eat in the sukkah. And if it's a stolen sukkah, it's a mitzvah ba'avera. But if it doesn't become a chiyuvas, it stays chiyuvas, okay. So I didn't fulfill an obligation. I have an obligation. That's the mitzvah chinuch cheshbon where it gets into a chiyuvas of chiyuvas.
Does he treat it as though you've eaten outside of the sukkah?
So that's what he says. It's not as if you're eating outside of the sukkah. That's why I need the pasuk to tell me that the sukkah gzula is not a sukkah.
Doesn't mean nothing, basically.
That's
no plus, no minus.
Right, no plus, no minus. But if the Torah tells me, the separate pasuk that tells me the stolen sukkah is not a sukkah, so it's not a mitzvah ba'avera, now it's a new thing. It's not a sukkah. That's as if you ate out of the sukkah. That's his cheshbon over there, how he takes care of it. That's his shtickle over there. But he makes the chiluk to chiyuvas and chiyuvas. But so if you're going to say that sukkah is a chiyuvas, so the beheter doesn't start. I start off with you have a question from sukkah to Pesach. Of course, matzah never becomes chiyuvas. If you say you have to eat a suda, I don't have to eat matzah. There's no chiyuvas to eat matzah. But in sukkah, the reason why you make a bracha leishav a sukkah all 7 days is because the mitzvah chiyuvas. And when you eat in the sukkah, it becomes a mitzvah chiyuvas. Right? When I have to eat in the sukkah, it becomes a mitzvah chiyuvas. That's where you're going to make a bracha. Very clear difference between matzah and Pesach. So if you hold sukkah is a mitzvah chiyuvas, you can't bring any rayas that Pesach is also a mitzvah kol shiva. It's 2 separate things. Fine. So we have here the Gra and the Cheskuni that hold that matzah kol shiva is a mitzvah. Other people hold it's not a mitzvah kol shiva. But even according to the Gra that says that achilas matzah kol shiva is a mitzvah, I don't want to go to halarichas now, but I have a first raya from the Ridvaz in the Yerushalmi that says that what does it mean it's a mitzvah kol shiva? So it says his lashon is the reason why we say it's a mitzvah kol shiva is they shouldn't come to be even bal taisif. Because if you're going to eat matzah on the second day of the Shem mitzvah's matzah, and you know there's no mitzvah to eat it, it's even bal taisif. That's what he says. That's what the Ridvaz says. It's not for now. It's all Richt's in the Advance. But you see from the Advance over there,
So that's why the Torah gave us this quasi mitzvah.
Yeah, that's why we need to have this mitzvah kiyumus to eat matzah. Because if not, you may be over Baal Taisif. But he says over there that the only time you mekayem the mitzvah of achilas matzah kol shiva is if when I'm eating it, you have a mind the Shem mitzvahs achilas matzah. Because even though we hold mitzvahs etzrichas kavanah, you don't have to have kavanah when you do a mitzvah. That's all the mitzvah kiyumus. The first night when I'm eating the matzah, I have a chiv to eat the matzah, or I'm saying Kriya Shema, I have a chiv to say Shema. If we pass the mitzvahs ain't tzrichas kavanah, he ate to the mitzvah. So even though I didn't have a mind to do the mitzvah, he ate to the mitzvah. Mitzvah ain't tzrichas kavanah. If you have mitzvah tzrichas kavanah, you have to have a mind. But if we pass the mitzvah ain't tzrichas kavanah, you don't have to have a mind. You're doing the mitzvah, you ate to the mitzvah anyway. Masha ain't came the mitzvah kiyumus of kol shiva, even according to the Gra, that there's a mitzvah kiyumus. If you're just going to eat matzah, you're not going to have in mind the same matzah, the same mitzvah. You're not a mitzvah.
We're not?
You might even
do a whole like that?
You might even be over on Baal Taisif.
That's what I'm trying to do mechadish.
You might even be
No, you're not about Taisif.
I think
you're not about Taisif because you're not mechaven to do the mitzvah. You're not about Taisif if you're mechaven to do the mitzvah.
Oh, so now we have the mitzvah, so if you are mechaven, you're safe.
Right. What we say, man, was
I think you are Yotzei, because we don't make a point of saying that when you're eating the matzah, we have company for it, not from people. We don't make a point of saying you have to have in mind,
When? First night?
First night.
Yeah, it's the first night of Yotzei.
You're Yotzei.
No, because mitzvah kiyuvis. I'm going after the first night. You want to eat matzah the whole yom tov, and you want to be mekayem mitzvah. You're eating matzah. You want to be mekayem mitzvah while you're eating matzah. It's kedai to have a mind that I'm doing the Shem mitzvah, and then you'll get a mitzvah. Even according to the Gra, they're getting a mitzvah, but you should have a mind of doing the Shem mitzvah.
Each time you eat it, or can you go back to my first question?
So you wonder if you can say in the beginning now for the next 7 days, anytime I'm eating matzah.
Well, you just say now.
It's for the mitzvah. Because matzah, maybe it's good enough. Maybe it's good enough.
Does it have to be Haim Shmur to do that?
Oh no, would
it have to be Haim Shmur to do that?
It has to be Shmur matzah, yeah. Otherwise
What about Haim Shmur?
No, not Haim Shmur.
When it was made specifically.
No, that's fine. It doesn't have to be that, no. Matzah shira not.
Right.
Matzah shira not yet to the mitzvah. So if you eat matzah shira on...
So you don't eat it at all? Do you?
It's up to the eat. People eat matzah shira.
Healthy people?
What?
Healthy people?
As far as they maybe eat it.
They do?
Yeah.
Get no teeth.
Yeah. No, it's different. That's not a healthy person.
Non-shmura matzah, like regular matzah.
No, that's fine.
That's fine.
It's
a regular manish.
No, that's fine. That's you eat to the mitzvah.
Oat matzah.
It's only the first night.
How much?
$35.
No, it's $30.
Went down? Oat matzah, I never heard of it.
But one thing we see from over here, I want to speak of one more thing, that when it comes time to Pesach, we find we have a matzah l'chatzah. The Gra hold that it's a mitzvah to eat matzah. We have in the middle that there's no mitzvah. We have on the other side don't eat matzah. It's bad not to eat matzah. There's a lot of different minhagim in Pesach. And Pesach we know is a yom tov of giving over, of a seder, right? Every meeting everybody has, we keep that minhagim, we try to change the minhagim. Did I share with you the word about the Chacham, the Rasha, and the initial? I think I shared with you.
Not this year.
So not this year. Okay, so now we can say it again. It says in Agada, there's a Chacham, there's a Rasha, there's a Tam, and there's a initial. The obvious question is, what's the opposite of a Rasha? The opposite of a Rasha is a Tzaddik. Right? I shared this with you? No. So there's a Chacham, Rasha, Tam, and Elisha. Why we call it a Chacham and a Rasha? Because Tzaddik and a Rasha, Tam, and Elisha. The obvious question. I think the Pshat is Pashat.
Well, is the opposite of a Tam, a Shein, and a Elisha?
No, but Chacham and Rasha. You're saying it's not the opposite.
Yeah.
Okay. The teretz is good. The chash is good enough to have a teretz.
Okay.
I once saw a mashal, a beautiful mashal. When someone wants to build a house, right, or big apartment building, right? So you go to an architect. The architect draws up the building. Then he brings in the tradesmen, and the tradesmen come and they follow the architect exactly how to build the building. So he brings in people to build the building. So if you bring in somebody who doesn't know anything. He just knows, follows the thing. I'm supposed to build a beam here, I build a beam here. This here follows exactly what it says. He doesn't even know to ask, why is this beam here, why is this beam here. He just follows the instructions. If another guy who comes in, and he asks, why is this beam here, why is this here, and you try to tell him, if you move this over a little bit, the whole building could collapse. He doesn't understand what you're talking about. Why? Doesn't understand how the mechanics of a building work. Then you have somebody who understands everything. And he asks you, why is it here? You tell him, because if you move it over, this is going to fall in, and he's a chacham, he understands. Then you have a guy who comes in, and who says, yeah, it doesn't look good. I can move it over, nothing's going to happen. Right? He moves it over. Smart aleck. He thinks he knows better. That person, the owner, doesn't care about the other three. As long as they're all doing their job, he doesn't care. They understand, they don't understand. What bothers him? It bothers him, the guy who comes in, thinks he knows better. Because he could destroy the whole building. Because you move over one beam to the right, 2 inches, the whole building could collapse. That's what he cares about. He doesn't want that guy in there. That guy's in fire right away. The other three, okay, someone understands better, someone understands less, they're all fighting him. Russia is the person who thinks he knows better. He doesn't want answers. He asks, he doesn't want answers. He looks at the Russia.
He says,
he says, the Russia of the Russia is, the Omar, but his son's going to tell you more about the Zeis Lachem. Is that Russia Shaila? He doesn't want answers. He doesn't want to tell you. That's a Russia. The Chacham, the Tam, She'en Elisha, some of them understand more than the next. But they're all tzaddikim. They're all following the blueprint. They're all following exactly. They have a Torah, they follow it exactly. They want to follow it. She'en Elisha doesn't know what to ask. He knows I'm told to do this, he doesn't. Tam asks, may not understand the answers. A Chacham understands the answers. But they're all tzaddikim. To Hashem, they're all the same. Because someone doesn't understand as much, there's nothing wrong, as long as it's following the instructions. So when you say Tzaddik Rasha, Tam She'en Elisha, you may think Tzaddik Rasha and the Tam She'en Elisha aren't Tzaddikim. We don't want that. We don't want anybody to think that way. That's why we don't say Tzaddik Rasha. Chacham Rasha, Tam She'en Elisha, because they're all three Tzaddikim. They're all doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing. They're all following the instructions.
Also, those three have, it's all thought, like what is smart, what is not smart. So it's the same group of people. So
the same, yeah. And it could be even more. It could be even more. That's when we have three different types of people. I think there's also, each person in himself has all three traits. Each person himself, we don't understand everything. Some things we understand better than others. Some things we understand to ask, and we don't understand the answer. Some things we don't even understand to ask, but we just do as we're told. We follow the Torah, we follow what we're supposed to be doing, and all three parts of that are tzaddikim. What's the Russia part on us? When we do what we're not supposed to be doing, we think we know better.
Baruch Hashem, there's no rush at the table.
Huh?
There's never a rush at the table. If you read the Lashon, right?
Yeah. You send him away.
What?
You send him away, he's not there.
No, not even send him away. He's actually not there.
Right.
What do you say to him? What do you say to him? You say to him, if I had been there, I went out of the merit of Hashem, right? If he had been there, he wouldn't have been, because you're not him. You're a nice boy. But somebody who talked that way, such a person,
wouldn't be right.
He wouldn't have merited to do it. But you're not that person. Because we don't say if you had been there. We say if he, which is either he left the table, right? And we're talking to everybody else at the table. Or a nice way to see it is that you're saying, okay, you use that phrase, but that's not who you really are.
Right.
That's who he is. Somebody who did that.
So, and that's why Pesach is a Yom Tov says it's called a Yom Tov of Amunah. We believe in Hashem, even though we don't understand everything, doesn't mean we have any questions. Some things we don't understand, something we understand. As long as we understand one thing, we have to follow the architect and follow the blueprint, which is the Torah. That is the 4 sons. And that's why we don't say a tzaddik and a rasha. Because no matter what, as long as we understand we're following the right path, we're all called tzaddik. That's the word I'd like to share with you about the 4 sons.
You're good.
I want to say another thing. It's an interesting thing you see in Rashi. There's one Rashi in Chumash, in Pashas Toldos. The Rashi says, by when it's saying who Lavan was, it says it's the brother of Rivka, Eim Yaakov Esav. And Rashi says, Eini Yidea Ma'b'av Imam. That's what I don't know what the pasuk is coming to teach us. That's what Rashi is saying. You don't know, don't say anything. Right?
He wants to bring to your attention. There's a problem. He doesn't have the answer.
Doesn't have the answer. Any ball on Dana, Rashi says. So you can say, yeah, he once he was bothered by something. I think there's a lot more Rashi. We all know Rashi in the Torah was written with Ruach HaKodesh. So Be'er Tam says that he could have written Rashi on Gemara. Tam was Einikol of Rashi, the grandson. He could have written Rashi al Shas. Rashi al Chumash, he couldn't have written. Rashi al Chumash is written with Ruach HaKodesh. Rashi wanted to put in somewhere, even though it's written with Ruach HaKodesh, you should know, there's something called any idea. Not everything do we understand. Something we don't understand. No matter how high or what level we're at, there's certain things we don't understand everything. You could say any day.
God didn't give him the knowledge for that specific reason.
Right. And you can say any day. Just because you don't understand everything doesn't mean you have to understand every little thing.
I heard this year that we always think of the Tom, the simple son, as not necessarily the sharpest person. And I heard this year, first of all, who is Yaakov? Ishtam.
Right.
That the simple son doesn't require the proofs that the
he accepts it without the proofs.
He says, I know this to be true. Simply, I know it to be true. I don't need to have everything explained to me like my older brother does.
Right.
So I'm clear on it already. And he's actually at a higher level because there's a woman.
Right.